Hello, wine enthusiasts. Welcome to the Daily Taste for Monday, May 30th, Memorial Day. I hope you're having an awesome day and enjoying some great wines with friends and family. Last week, we started going through the process of making both red and white wines in a commercial winery. For white wines, we got through receiving the fruit, pressing, and preparing for fermentation. White wines are fermented much differently than red wines because they have delicate aromas and flavors that the winemaker wants to make sure end up in the finished wine. This is done by controlling the temperature of white wine ferments so they don't ferment too fast. A fast white ferment causes the wine to lose those delicate characteristics. Before white wines can be inoculated, the juice is pumped into a tank to allow it to settle. This allows the solid particles in the juice to settle to the bottom of the tank. In white wine, clarity is very important, so this is one step that helps clarify the wine. To understand the next step of the process, you need to understand the anatomy of a stainless steel tank. I will post a few pictures of these tanks to the show website so you can see what I'm talking about. A stainless steel tank has multiple openings, and all of them have a specific purpose. There's typically an opening at the very top of the tank that is used to add additions to the fermenting wine or to check the aromas being produced by the fermentation. If there are off aromas being produced, the winemaker can step in and help out the fermentation. There is a large door toward the bottom of the tank that opens to allow the winemaking team entry so they can clean the tank properly before any juice or wine are added. There are also 3 small openings in the tank. The smallest of the openings is called the sample valve. The sample valve is located to the right of the tank's main door and allows the winemaking team to walk up to the tank and get a sample of juice or wine for analysis. The second of the small openings is at the very bottom of the tank, which allows pumps to be connected to move wine in and out. It can also be used to mix the tank contents by adding an air hose and fitting to the opening and forcing nitrogen into the tank. Finally, there's a small opening offset to the right and below the tank entrance called the racking valve. Racking is the winery term for moving the clean juice located above any settled solids in the bottom of the tank into another tank. In our white wine, after 24 hours of settlement, a sample is taken from the racking valve to see how clear the juice is at that level. The sample is then taken to a machine called a turbidity meter, which checks the sample's turbidity in NTUs, or basically how much solids remain in the juice. If there are too many solids still suspended in the juice at the racking valve, the winemaker will typically allow the juice to settle another day before testing a sample again. If the turbidity is within the desired level, the juice is ready to be racked off the settlement and into the fresh tank for fermentation. The wineries I worked at in the past, Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon, were ready to be racked at 125 to 127 NTUs. Pinot Grigio was racked between 200 and 250 NTUs, and all other whites were ready to be racked between 250 and 300 NTUs. Racking really is an art and can be stressful because if you accidentally transfer some of the sediment into the fresh tank, the settlement process will need to be started over again. During the peak of harvest, tank space is very important, so the winemaker will not be happy if there is a setback due to a racking error. Once the wine is racked off the sediment into a fresh tank, the white juice is then inoculated with yeast that has been rehydrated the same way we rehydrated the red wine yeasts. The tank temperature is set at 55 degrees for a white fermentation. Every day, the winemaking team will check the temperature of the fermentation and the Brix, or sugar level, of the juice. In white wine, the winemaker wants a slow fermentation and only wants 1 to 2 Brix drop in the juice per day. If the fermentation is progressing faster than this, the winemaker will lower the temperature in the tank to slow down the activity. If the fermentation is a little sluggish, the winemaker can up the temperature in the tank to encourage more activity. The white wines I made typically took around 30 days to finish fermenting. Once the fermentation is finished, the tank temperature is lowered to 32 degrees to arrest any yeast activity and to keep spoilage organisms at bay. Tomorrow I'll discuss what I've done with red wines after they finish fermentation. That's when the real work begins. As Father's Day approaches, I'll be creating a page on the show website called Father's Day. There I will post great wine gift ideas for all the wine-loving dads out there. I encourage you to go to www.obsessedwithwine.net if you need a good idea for a special wine gift for Father's Day. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow for another Daily Taste. Cheers!